So yesterday, the NBA finalized their 2023 All-Stars, releasing the reserves in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So we didn't know who the starters were in both conferences. You had Giannis and LeBron being the captains because they were the most popular vote getters in their respective conferences. You had Donovan Mitchell and Kyrie Irving in the backcourt in the East. Then you had Tatum and Durant wrapping out the front court. In the West, you had Luka and Steph in the backcourt. Jokic and Zion wrapping out the front court. Now, I didn't really get to talk about these starters, so I'll do a quick little thing here. Giannis and LeBron, super cool. Those guys being the captains. Kyrie and Mitchell were my picks for the backcourt. You could have said Jaylen Brown over Kyrie, but I'm perfectly fine with Kyrie making it. Tatum, I think he 100% deserves it as well. The only thing was KD over Embiid, and I thought with KD just being hurt over the last couple of weeks and Embiid just really shooting up the MVP ladder, he was going to get that last spot. It's really not the end of the world, but I was a little shocked to see KD. As for the West, I was perfectly fine with Luka and Jokic. Curry, I mean, he's the most popular guard in the league, so it makes sense. I think Shea was a little bit more deserving, but it's the All-Star game. Popularity trumps, I guess, pure talent this season. Maybe by a statistical standpoint, Shea's having a better year because they're around the similar record, but records don't really mean anything. It's all about that star power, so Steph making it, I get that. Jokic up there in the MVP combo, get that. Zion, I was a little shocked because he only played like one or two more games than Anthony Davis at the time. So I was like, okay, if Zion is starter eligible, how is Anthony Davis not starter eligible? But I'm like, okay, maybe the popularity thing, I don't know. 80 was definitely going to be a reserve, right? Well, yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So we'll go one by one and give out what I think about this. So Bam in the East, deserving 100% of the All-Star conversation. Him making it, I'm perfectly fine with. No Jimmy Butler. He's the lone Heat. I was a little shocked. Okay, first snub. He's in the Eastern Conference frontcourt, so I got to talk about him. Pascal Siakam. Siakam is averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Now, not on a great Raptors team, but he's having by far the best season of his career, and he's been an all-star before. No other Raptors made it. He would have been the lone one, so I was very shocked to see him not make the All-Star game. Jaylen Brown, 100% deserving. Could have been a starter, like I said. DeMar DeRozan, I think he was definitely deserving over Bam and Julius Randle as frontcourt guys, so like he's not even in that conversation of should he have been an odd man out. Embiid, yes, could have been a starter. I'm perfectly fine with Halliburton making it. He's definitely deserving. I love to see first-time All-Stars, and he is there. 20 and 10. Right now, still leading the NBA in assists per game because Harden hasn't hit that player or game threshold. But yeah, Halliburton made it. Drew Holiday and Julius Randle. So we'll talk about the East here. Okay, so the Pascal Siakam thing. Siakam and Randle have similar numbers. Randle at 24, 4, or closer to 25, 4 and 11. Siakam is at 25, 8 and 6. The Knicks have a slightly better record, okay. The Heat also have a better record than the Raptors. But the NBA records have never meant anything in choosing All-Stars. Maybe the coaches will give a little bit more respect out to that, or the players. For popularity, no, not at all. That's why I'll get into the West because like the 80 thing is very interesting to really talk about. But yeah, like back in 2020, the Hawks had a 15 and 41 record at the All-Star break in 2020, and Trae Young was an All-Star. So, yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind as we get into this. I think for the front court, Siakam was the most notable snub in the East. You could have taken him or put him in over Randle or Bam. I personally think it's not even biased for me, but I think Randle deserved it a little bit more than Bam, even though Bam is a much better defender, don't get me wrong. But I think Randle has been much more crucial to the Knicks' success this year, just as a team overall. But Bam making, if like Bam and Siakam made it and Randle didn't, I would have been perfectly fine with that. They were neck and neck, and that's probably the bias coming out of me. And I'm going to fully admit that, like 100%. Like deep down, like if it's a coin flip, I'm going to make it maybe 50.1% to 49.9% because I'm a Knicks fan. So, yeah, Siakam, big snub, was very shocked he didn't make it. Now, a couple Eastern Conference backcourt snubs. Halliburton and Halliburton and Holiday made it for the backcourt in the East off the bench along with Jaylen Brown. Brown, 100% deserving. We'll not be talking about him in this snub combo. But yeah, Holiday and Halliburton. The Bucks, 2 seed in the East. They get their second All-Star. Pacers, middle of the pack, closer to the bottom, though, of the Eastern Conference. He gets the Pacers lone All-Star. So, a couple snubs here. Jalen Brunson, one of them. I'm fine with Holiday and Halliburton making it over him. You could have made a pretty solid debate for him over Drew Holiday. We know that Drew Holiday is a great defender, but you could even say that Jalen Brunson has been the best player on the Knicks this season over Julius Randle. He's averaging 23 points, 6 assists, shooting 39% from 3, 85 from the line. Halliburton, okay, so there's 3 snubs I guess I can mention outside of Brunson as well. Wow. So you have Darius Garland is one of them. Would you have had Darius Garland being the second Cleveland Cavaliers All-Star, making it over Drew Holiday or Tyrese Halliburton, because Garland is averaging 22 and 8. 45, 39, 86 split. So he's averaging 22, 3, and 8. We'll look at those counting stats. And Halliburton's averaging 20, 10, and 4. It's pretty debatable. And the Cavs have a much better record. Now, you might give the slight edge to Halliburton because he's the lone pacer, and you want to have as many players from as many different teams making it, which is fine. But does he deserve it over Drew Holiday? Possibly. The other one was Trae Young. Hawks did not get any All-Stars, but Trae Young's efficiency has not been good this year. Yes, he's averaging 27 and 10. And it's crazy to say that somebody averaging 27 and 10 isn't an all-star, where team success doesn't matter too much. Sometimes defense doesn't even matter. But 43 from the field, 32 from 3 are just abysmal. We know how bad of a defender he is. I didn't really have him as an all-star towards the end of my list. I actually had the next guy I called a snub, James Harden. Now, James Harden has definitely missed some time this year, but Zion Williamson, who has played less games than him, was an all-star starter. So I don't even want to think, or I don't even want to hear the games played argument against Harden. You could say that counting stats, team success, and just overall style of play this year, Harden deserves it over Drew Holiday and Tyrese Halliburton. Now Halliburton, better defender. Like I said, first time all-star. I'll always give the edge to that. So I'm fine with Halliburton making it over Harden. I'm just a little shocked to see Drew Holiday make it over James Harden, just in my opinion. So yeah, Brunson, Trae, Harden, and Garland are the Eastern Conference snubs in the backcourt. To be honest with you, I probably would have given it to Harden over Holiday, and then maybe Garland over Holiday, but I know Holiday's an all-world defender, and I'm glad to see him in the All-Star game. He's an underrated player throughout the league. So yeah, that's just my gripes with the Eastern Conference. They're never going to be perfect every year. I do think they even got the starters semi-perfect. I mean, Embiid, it was a lose-lose because, either KD fans were going to be upset or Embiid fans were going to get upset, and KD is more popular than Embiid. So, yeah, I would say Siakam was a notable snub in the Eastern Conference front court. I don't know who. I guess I would have put him over Randall or Bam. Randall and Bam were so close, in my opinion, that it could have been a coin flip, but I think he should have made it over which one you think deserves it a little bit less. And then for the backcourt, I do think Harden deserved it over Holiday. As for Garland over Holiday, I'm not really going to make too much of a debate because they would be their second All-Stars on the team, joining Giannis and Mitchell, and the Bucks have a better record, so I'm cool with that. Brunson, if Randall's going to make it Holiday over Brunson, I'm also cool with that. And then Trae Young, I'm cool with Holiday over Trae Young 100%, and definitely deserving due to defense, overall play, efficiency. So yeah, it's really just Harden over Holiday, because the Sixers are good enough where their second All-Star can trump the Bucks' second All-Star, All right, so let's get into the Western Conference side of things. We already talked about the starters. So you have Paul George, forward, Shea, guard, Jaren Jackson Jr. This was a shocker. I did not think he was going to make the All-Star game. Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Ja Morant, and Domantas Sabonis. So a couple of these guys I'm not really going to talk about too much because they're 100% deserving. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I thought should have been a starter, but Curry, like I said, more popular, so I'm perfectly fine with Curry making it over Shea, but Shea 1,000% deserving here on the reserves. Go with him. Damian Lillard, he's really keeping the Blazers season alive. It's looking like he was teetering a little bit. He's had some crazy performances as of late. Dame is an all-star, one of the more popular players in the league. I think Lauri Markkanen shouldn't even be in the combo of not making it. He has been incredible for the Jazz. They host the All-Star game. You want a Jazz in it, and it's cool to see him have a breakout season. My most improved player. Ja Morant, yep, he is an All-Star 1,000%. Don't need to go into him too much. Incredible player. Domantas Sabonis, the season the Kings are having, he is definitely an all-star. So the ones we're going to talk about are Jaren Jackson Jr. and Paul George. But before we get into that, we'll talk about the one guard snub, I think, or maybe there's two. De'Aaron Fox is one at the guard spots, but who are you putting over Ja, Dame, and Shea? None of them. Devin Booker is another one, but you're like, Devin Booker has only played 29 games this year. Well, yeah, Zion Williamson, all-star with the same amount or close to the amount. Jaren Jackson Jr. also missed some time at 35 games played, but the minutes aren't much higher than Anthony Davis, who we'll get into. So yeah, Devin Booker, I'm fine with not making it, because who is he going to make it over? And Fox, tough as well, but I don't think the Kings were going to have two All-Stars, and you're not putting Fox over Ja, Dame, or Shea. So yeah, let's talk about Paul George and Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't know, man. Let's just kind of look at what Paul George has done this season. I just wanted to clarify the games played. 37, okay. I do also just want to see where his counterpartner, Kawhi Leonard, because he would have been a front court guy, at 28 games played. Kawhi's been a lot better as of late. But yeah, I want to go into the Anthony Davis debate here because Anthony Davis has played 28 games, one less than Zion, a few less than Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's one of the more popular players in the league. You know why? Because he plays for the Lakers, and he's also one of the best players in the league. He looked as a front runner for Depoy before he got hurt in the beginning of the year. He's come back, still been a solid player. Obviously, still at 27, 12, 2.5 tonight, or 2.5 right now. We had a great game last night against the Indiana Pacers. In my opinion, he was the biggest, I think, snub of the All-Star game. I know he hasn't played a lot of games, but clearly that doesn't matter. Zion Williamson played one more game before the All-Star game. They're going to have, AD's probably going to have played more games than Zion Williamson, and AD was not an All-Star. I'm all for giving it to the good defenders, the small market teams, the first-time All-Stars. And maybe the Pelicans needed one All-Star but I don't know, because they're on like an 11-game losing streak or a 10-game losing streak at the moment. And I don't think they needed an All-Star, in my opinion. Do I think Zion should have made it? Yeah, he's a popular, fun player. He should have been in the All-Star game. I do think Anthony Davis should have made it over Paul George or Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a popular player. He's one of the best players in the league. He's putting up the counting stats that you want. He's averaging a lot of points and rebounds. He's shooting 58% from the field. He's a good defender. I don't know how he didn't make the All-Star game. I think he is the biggest snub because, yeah, it's the games played thing. Like, I'm fine if they're under 30 games played when these come out, and they should make it. But somebody did. And AD, you could say, deserves it more than Zion. And if you think Zion, okay, lone Pelicans All-Star, I'm fine with that. Let's give the Pelicans an All-Star. The Grizzlies. Yes, the Grizzlies are much better than the Lakers, but they have 2 All-Stars. And I don't know. You could say team success, but team success really doesn't matter too much when it comes to All-Star games, which I'd be fine if it does, but it's a popularity contest. It's the biggest NBA stars that you want in this All-Star game. Now, I'm not saying have a star player like maybe Carmelo Anthony averaging 12 points, but it's Melo. Let's put him in the All-Star game. No, I'm not saying that, but Anthony Davis has the numbers to back it up, and I know they're the 12th, 13th, whatever seed in the Western Conference at the moment. But yeah, that's for the All-NBA, man. You're looking at All-NBA teams of players that are just playoff teams and that are good defenders on both sides of the ball, and they're efficient. That's not what the All-Star game has been about. If they want to make that what it's about, I am perfectly fine with that, but that's not what it's been about. So, yeah, that is just kind of my gripes with this All-Star game this season. Like, I kind of went through this. I agreed with most of these All-Stars. You're not going to be able to put everybody in. So, like, for the Randall, Bam, Siakam debate, it was never going to be perfect. Somebody was going to get snubbed. I was a little bit shocked that it was. Siakam, for the guards, like I said, there was 4 other guards. Garland, Harden, Trae Young, and Brunson that could have been in the conversation. Most of those, well, all of them, were snubbed. But, yeah, that's going to happen. There's a lot of talent in this league. I was just a little shocked to see maybe Holiday make it over James Harden. And then for the Western Conference, I think Paul George, I don't know. Like, you want to get a Clipper in. They're having a good season. So, you know what, sure. The Jaren Jackson Jr. thing was a little bit interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think I've ranted too much about this, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is my depoy. So, Grizzlies fans, I don't hate Triple J. I love him as a player. He's one of my favorite young players in this league. He's one of my favorite, like, rim protectors in this league. He's incredible. He's 1,000% deserving of depoy, no matter what that Reddit post said. But yeah, was a little shocked to see him make it over Anthony Davis. So, drop a like if you guys did enjoy. Let me know your opinions of the All-Star rosters in 2023 down below. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.